Anytime, you know that our opening announcement says, if you have items of interest in this community, give us a call. Well, we had conversation with a couple that we think really has items of interest in the backyard. In fact, hundreds of items of interest. We're at the Coopers. We're on Division Street. We're at Alice and Lonnie Cooper's house, and they talked to us about hummingbirds and how many they have and how often she has to change the drink that they use, and we're here to look at the hummingbirds today and to pick their brains about what all they do. They really enjoy looking at the birds from inside. Let's go inside and look out the window and see what they see. All right, I want you to meet here on the back deck Alice and Lonnie Cooper and hummingbirds. I hope you can see them, but we're going to get some close-ups. How many feeders do you have out?
Well, we have out 8 feeders, and we've keep them loaded 3 times a day. It takes that much to feed all these hummingbirds.
And do you make the solution, and how do you buy it? What do you have?
I make it. It's 4 cups of water and 1 cup of sugar. And of course I stir it and dissolve it and everything. And then
do you boil the water? Do you have to be careful?
I boil the water, just get it boiling a little bit, and then let it cool down and
put it in the feeder.
Put it in the feeders.
And now you say do you usually feed this time? Do you usually put new solution in? And what did you say? What happens to them?
Well, she usually fills them up before they go to roost, and then they come in and they fill up real good, and then they holds them till morning, and they're here waiting on us when we get up.
Well, now, do they roost in that tree? I see them all.
They roost out there, and they roost in these lilies here, and they just in these trees around here. They just.
And do they ever light on? Do you feel like they know you?
Oh yes. When they get out of feed, they knock on the window.
They don't really. Do they really?
They bump the window and let me know that their feeders are empty.
So they just come to your glass and,
yes, they do.
And say,
well, most people say that they see the reflection in there and they're fighting themselves, but we like to think it'd be the other way.
And now, you know what? Everybody thinks hummingbirds are just sweet, nice, little, beautiful birds. And I read once that they spend most of their time being aggressive to other birds. Is this true?
The most aggressive bird that I guess there is, except a hawk or something like that. They're just really, really mean, the males are.
Well, now you mentioned to me earlier that sometimes you have to separate the feeders to keep one male or 2 from dominating everything?
They get to fighting, and the males will run everything off. He'll even run the females off. Then as the breeding season comes in, he'll start letting them come in, but he starts getting more aggressive. You know, that's the reason they fight all the time.
Okay, and they're fighting over the feeder. Now you say, you don't even have to color the water in here. They say it had to be red. Is that not so?
No.
That's not true, and a lot of people say that you're not supposed to feed them and quit feeding them late, you know, because they're migratory. But according to this book in here, when it comes time for them to go, they'll go regardless of the feed.
Whether or not there is feed. Now, are these? Do you have differing kinds through the season, or are these all pretty much the same kind?
I think they're pretty much the same kind. I've not witnessed any other kind other than what we have here.
What you're gonna
Some
do?
of those empty ones, I just take them down, take them in the house, clean them off real good, fill them back up, bring them back out here. Then they will all come here.
Do they ever light on you?
Oh yeah, they'll light on your hand. You can put your hand out there.
I want to see that. Oh, all right. Are you going to fill these up now?
Yes, I can.
All
fill
right.
them.
All right. So what do you?
Taking this off.
And
I have to snap this out.
how do you keep ants out of it? Is that not a problem to you?
Well, we did have ants coming in, but we put out some ant killer around the porch, and that kept them coming up the porch. And I wrench them out real good, get the stick and everything off.
So as often as they empty that, 3 times a day, you don't really have to worry. Yours never sours on you.
No, no. And at night, I fill them all up, and what I have left, I make it up. What I have left, I put it in the refrigerator overnight. And
so they don't care if it's cold or hot or what temperature.
No. If they're hungry, they'll eat. I'll take this, fill it up. I don't never put it all the way, especially this time. And I take this and screw it on the top.
And at the price of sugar. Oh. And you know what? I see them coming up there to the window. They're saying, hurry up.
Yeah, they know I'm filling them up.
And do you ever sit out at the table and just watch them out on your back porch that I see?
When we eat breakfast every morning, that's when they're real hungry. And they just flog out there, and we watch them. They fight and mess around, so they get a spot in there to eat.
So, all right, so you have 2 ready to go. All right, we're going to get you, just go right on. Now, with this many feeders out, they still are aggressive to each other and guard the food supply, right?
Right, they're really aggressive, and I think the females is about as aggressive as the males.
All right, now tell me how you're telling the females from the males.
The males has just got the circle. I mean, the female has just got the circle around its throat, but the male has a ruby red. The dominant males just have a ruby red feathers that they throw out when they're threatened.
Now, are these youngsters here that...
Some of them are adolescent males and some of them are females, but the old males are the most aggressive ones of them, but the females are aggressive to one another, you know.
Yeah. Okay, and the ones now with the red throat are the dominant males.
Right, and they are real aggressive to all of them. There's one that's sitting on that feeder right there now on the other side. It throws his throat out, and this was his adolescent male because he just has 2 spots on his throat. And he don't scare anybody, but that other one does.
When they're what now?
When they're feeding on the one at the window,
yeah.
I can get up, and I'll be on the inside, and I can look and real close, and they'll eat, and then they'll look up at me, and I can see the little red dots and all that.
Now, does that color change? Does the color get darker as they get older, or what would you say?
Yes, they do get darker. The males, they get just a bright, it's a rosy red. It's not what I would call just a real red, but when you see them sometimes, you don't see the red, but they are challenged. They'll throw their head back where everybody can see it, you know.
Oh, so they show off.
Yeah, they do.
Pulling their head back. And,
yeah.
And just look at this.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to scare people to death?
Yes.
I'm here. That's what they say.
But out here under this tree, there's a feeder out there, and there's one male sits out there, and all the rest of them will come over here, and he'll sit out there and he'll dance up and down, and then land back on the tree, and then he'll come out and dance up and down. See, there's a red one right there.
But they don't spend the night in this tree out here, do they?
Yes.
They do.
Yeah, they roost out there.
In that tree.
And the first dawn comes, they're right here eating, you know. And then as they get full, then they start fighting. But as long as they're hungry, there'll be 6 or 7 on each feeder, you know, and then some trying to get there.
Yeah, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but every now and then 2 or 3 will get in a fight over even one feeder.
Yeah,
who's going to be there?
They can't decide which one they want.
And I think some of them work together the way it looks. You know, they have one guarding the feeder, and 2 will fly out there and distract him, and then see that one that one with the black head on that feeder on the window.
I see that.
See, watch his throat there.
Yeah.
He flash up.
Now, when do they light on you?
When we go out there and we start feeding them and they're real hungry, well, they'll light on my hand and I'll hold up the feeder or something. They'll sit down on it, but they're not as wild as you'd think they would be. And you can take a young male or a female, and you hold the feeder up, and he'll get between you and the feeders to keep them others from running him off.
Oh.
He'll use you as a bodyguard. But I don't believe we've got as many as we had year before last. I mean, they were so thick.
Now, what time of year will they leave here, usually for good? And where do they go?
Well, they go to South America and down Mexico and places like that, but I don't know exactly what time they do leave, but they go through a mating period here before they leave, and they'll all be gone within 45 minutes of that time, you know.
Oh, all of them, would they leave? They leave.
Every one of them will be gone. They won't be a one here after they mate and get ready to leave. And the males are not ever around them. And I was reading an article in this magazine around here where in someplace in Mexico, the hawks, the red-tailed hawk nests there a whole lot. And they'll build their nest around these hawks because the hawks will protect them. You know, they'll
keep the
predators away from them, you know.
Oh, okay.
But now a hawk will try to eat them, but he can't catch him. So the effort is not something that he really wants to do, you know. But it's interesting just to watch them, you know.
Have you got them flying into that tree?
There's
a ruby throat
on the window. Now, see, you don't see the red, but let one fly up there, and he'll flash that red signal up there, let them know that, see him?
Yeah. Yeah. He's leaning that head back.
Yeah.
It's really red. You just don't know who you're eating with.
That's right. This may be a privilege for you.
Is the feeder up by the window? Is there one that's more important than all the rest? Is there a feeder they guard more, or if you have more prestige?
The far end of this right here, the one on the far end where the little dowel rod is.
Right.
Now that one, I don't know, maybe because it's on the end, but there are a lot of them gathers around it. And there's one that sets up on the dowel rod, one or two, that'll guard some of the feeders. He'll guard it, and when any bird lights on the feeder, then he'll come down and make them get away.
Now they're scared to death of a wasp.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've had some waspers to come around, and I've had to kill them with a fly swat, but they sit there.
They're afraid of them.
Oh yeah, they're afraid of the wasper. They know.
Did you know? I saw a documentary the other night, and for the first time in my life, I knew I had read that they eat mosquitoes and eat bugs. But on, I guess it was a National Geographic, they had them hemmed up, and you can see them open their mouth and catch one. Have you been able to see that?
No.
I think they had to have a special tent-like thing with the cameras going in order to catch it. They're so fast. So you sit here of a morning and have coffee and enjoy this.
Oh yes, we do. It's just amazing how they act and do and eat and fight each other and.
and Russ with the camera out there has scared them all away right now.
Right.
He's a stranger, and they just don't trust him. But
they won't go far though. They'll hang around. You know, they'll go out here to the tree, and you can see them sitting up in that tree. But the minute he gets out of the range, well, they'll be back.
Well, here we are. We've finished looking at hummingbirds. They're here by the hundreds, and I hope you've enjoyed your visit with the Coopers like we have. This is a marvelous. Just tell them you want to come out and sit on their patio and watch hummingbirds, and they'll let you.